Hello, everyone. We're just going to wait maybe 2 or 3 minutes just in case anyone's hopping on a little bit late, and then we'll get started. To anyone that's joined in the last minute, we're going to wait another minute or two, and then we'll get started. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started, unless Ashley, we good? And Alana?
105 attendees out of 114 registrants, so I think we're in good shape.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, really quickly before we get started, slight tech issue for one of our presenters that's attempting to join. Ashley, could you try to resend the presenter invite to Nate?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Do you want me to wait till it gets started until he's in here, since he presents relatively early?
No, I think we can go ahead and get started. He'll join us in a moment.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Welcome to the 2025 annual meeting. My name is Kyle Sandberg. I am the board president of NAIGC, and I will be presenting the first few slides here before I kick it off to some other people in the organization. Next slide, please. So the agenda for tonight, we're just going to start with some opening remarks, kind of about the organization as a whole. Then we're going to go into some organizational accomplishments and updates from the past year. We'll then move on to a financial update from the past year, and then we'll wrap up with Q&A. Next slide, please. So just some Zoom etiquette before we start. Feel free to use the Q&A feature throughout the meeting. If possible, we'll try to address some of the questions throughout the presentation, but if not, we have time set aside at the end to answer any questions that we receive. You can also use the raise hand feature as well, and if you do that, we can unmute you so you can actually ask your question out loud. And then to see the presenters during screen share, you can do view, options, and side-by-side view. And this presentation is being recorded, so if there is anyone who isn't here tonight, we will be sending out a link to the presentation in an email afterward, and we'll likely also post this on the website. Next slide, please. Sorry. So just the organization's mission and core values to review for anyone who isn't familiar. So our mission is to provide collegiate and adult gymnastics opportunities through competition, community building, and pushing the boundaries of the sport. And we have a set of core values that we use to achieve this mission, which are listed here: provide maximum opportunities for participation in adult gymnastics, especially for those with limited access; strive for excellence in services, communication, and fulfilling member needs; steward a culture of positivity and enthusiasm for the sport of gymnastics; and celebrate our volunteer-driven culture and ensure that volunteer passion and dedication drive our mission and community. And these are the things that we tend to consider when we are thinking about making any changes in the organization, just to make sure that, any changes that we do make come back to, fulfilling our mission and core values. Next slide, please. So kind of a bit about what NAIGC does in the greater gymnastics community. So this organization exists to fill a gap. I'm sure most of you are familiar with organizations like USAG and AAU and FIG. And those organizations are great for fulfilling certain needs. However, NAIGC provides more opportunities for collegiate and adult gymnasts at beginner up to advanced level. And we also provide much more flexibility than the rest of these organizations. So we are much more flexible when it comes to joining whatever club you want, practice or competing whatever level you want, competing whatever discipline you want. So, all of these other organizations are great, but we kind of, fulfill our own little niche by providing opportunities that are different than these other organizations, and that are a little bit more flexible. Now, we are an organization for adult gymnasts by adult gymnasts. Next slide, please. So before we move on, we just wanted to say a quick thank you to our sponsors, which are all listed here on the slide. So we have Spieth, Score Flippers, Foxy's, DGS, GK, A1 Awards, Resolite, Champion, GymSafe, International Gymnastics Camp, Ozone, Turn, FlipFest, EA, Virtual Stars, and Kendra Scott. All of these entities are great and help us provide all of the different offerings that we are able to provide y'all throughout the year. Next slide. I think we are going to move into organizational accomplishments and updates now, and I believe Nate Sharp is up first. So I will kick it over to him.
Thanks, Kyle. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, so as you can see on this chart, we have been growing strong and steady for many years now, and that pace does not promise to slacken anytime soon. And that is both an opportunity and a challenge, but we continue to rise to meet it and are working to prepare for that trend line to continue to go up over the coming 5 to 10 years. Next. We've got a lot of clubs these days. We've got 141, and you can see the full list of new member clubs that were added in the last year there. And if you know anybody that wants to start a new club, don't hesitate to reach out and send an email to info@naigc.org, and we can direct you to the right place and materials in order to help people start new clubs. So if you move or you know somebody who is in a location that they don't have access to a club, but they still want to do gymnastics and don't want to compete as a individual, then reach out, and it's pretty straightforward. Next. All right, Nationals 2025. So for those that weren't there, it was our biggest Nationals yet. We had almost 1,800 people split across WAG, MAG, and TNT. Record numbers for everything, including UAG, with over 200 people participating in some combination of both MAG and WAG disciplines. Over 100 25 people doing the decathlon, so all 10 of the MAG and WAG events, and 43 growing number on doing every single event that we offer in the entire competition. It was a huge blast, and we are looking forward to continuing that success into the future. Next. Nationals 2026 is going to be in Birmingham, Alabama from April 8th to 11th. We've got 2 host hotels, and the competition venue is the big convention center in town. And new this year, we've got a special guest. You may have seen him on Instagram and YouTube. Ash Watson was a former Great Britain professional gymnast, and is growing YouTube and Instagram following, and really is a perfect alignment with us and our ethos. He's really leaned into for the love of the sport, and really is excited to both come and meet and greet everybody, and also compete and perform some routines on his latest signature events, mostly balance beam and uneven bars. So that should be very exciting, and look forward to more information and videos in the run up to the event from Ash and us. Next. And new announcement, Nationals in 2027 is going to be in Portland, Oregon, from March 31st to April 3rd. And we're going to be at the convention center there. Very excited to be in a new city that we've never been to before. And this is looking like it's going to be a great new host city moving forward into the end of this decade. Thanks. All right. I will also be presenting the WAG rules updates for this year. So no huge changes here. Still the 4 main levels that we had last year: Excel Silver, Platinum, Diamond, and Level 9. We will still be offering the open scoring level at Nationals, and maybe at a few other meets this year, including a virtual meet, so that people can get some more practice routines in for Nationals. All the rules info continues to be at naigc.org/women's rules. We've got a great Instagram account that is regularly posting tips, tricks, rules, information, etc. at naigc_rules info on Instagram. And a friendly reminder that if you don't see a skill that you want to do in the USAG code or the Excel code, or our supplementary NAIGC skills, then you can submit new skills to be considered at rules@naigc.org. And our rules team will review it and get back to you on whether they want to accept it, and if so, at what valuation. And if you successfully compete one of those skills that you've submitted, then you get it named after you in our code. Next. So we've got some great resources on the web. We can't do kind of the full details for the USAG and Excel rules because those are paywalled, and USAG would get mad at us if we posted the entire rules. But we have some of these kind of cheat sheets up on the web, and you can always reach out to us for specific questions about rules. We will do our best to answer. And notably, we'll have more information posted about this soon, but the open scoring level is being slightly simplified for this year, to both make it more approachable for new people and to simplify the judging so that the judges can do a bang-up job and keep things moving at Nationals and potentially these other meets. Next. Over to you, Lucas, for MAG rules.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Lucas Reed. I'm the MAG rules lead working alongside 7 other committee members. To start, the NAIGC offers 3 MAG levels: developmental, intermediate, and advanced. These levels are based off of the FIG code of points with modifications to fit the needs of our membership. We offer a 1-page rule document that lists these modifications and summarizes the key rules you should be aware of. This document is on the NAIGC MAG webpage, and a screenshot of this can be found in the upper right of this slide. We only make major rule changes every 2 years, and this is one of the off years, so there are no major changes for this upcoming season. That being said, FIG has made some notable changes to the base rules. We will let folks know about these updates in email blasts and social media posts, so keep an eye out for that. We offer many resources to educate membership on our levels and rules, including example routines, templates for creating routines, judge and coaching resources, and much more, all of which can be found on the NAIGC MAG webpage. We also offer an NAIGC MAG code of points with unique skills submitted by membership. A screenshot of this can be seen in the bottom right. And if you come up with a new skill, please feel free to email rules@naigc.org, and we'll evaluate your skill to potentially be added to the NAIGC code of points. And if it's a B or higher, it can even be named after you. We have some stats from last year's nationals in the upper left corner and are happy to see continued growth. We support any and all gymnasts, so please feel free to sign up for MAG events this upcoming season. Everyone is welcome to compete MAG. We work hard to make rules that are fun and attainable for you, and we carefully review the annual survey feedback. Lastly, we're here to help. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to email rules@naigc.org, and we're happy to support however we can, even including one-on-one calls. Thank you, and I'll pass it off to Diane for TNT.
Hi, I'm Diane Nissen, and I'm the co-chair of our TNT Rules Committee for NAIGC. The sport of trampolining is consisting of individual trampoline, synchronized trampoline, double mini tramp, and tumbling. And at NAIGC, we are open to everybody from beginner through advanced. And a little bit of trivia is that the sport of trampoline gymnastics debuted as an Olympic event, in case you didn't know it, in the year 2000 in Sydney, Australia. This year, no major changes will be made. We were thinking of some, but we've decided to hold off, so no big ones going on this year. Any smaller changes that we decide we'll announce in October. And if you'd like more information about our trampoline and tumbling events, you can go to this website for naigc.org/trampoline and tumbling. There you will find our rules for NAIGC, our policies, our degree of difficulty charts and competition cards, as well as videos for getting started and skill progressions. Videos showing form and technique also for TNT. I know a lot of people always have a lot of questions, and we welcome them. And you can find more information as well, and maybe some other videos that are from TNT via our Instagram account on NAIGC. And of course, you can always ask questions to us at rules@naigc.org, and we welcome them. And please feel free to ask questions about routines and skills and how to do this, especially if you're new, because we welcome everyone, as I said. I think I'm handing this over to Nate at this point.
Indeed. Thanks, Diane. So quick Score Flippers overview. So Score Flippers, for those that don't know, is the registration and scoring platform that we use for all of our events, both meets and camps, etc. Score Flippers is split into two different kind of platforms within Score Flippers, Insight and Event Genie. So Insight is where you handle everything related to purchasing individual and club membership, club manager details, club management, who is or is not in your club, meet scoring and results, but not meet registration. So for meet registration, that's where you go to Event Genie. If you want to switch between these two, or you're not sure where something is, you can't find it on one, you can go to your profile and switch from one to the other, or just go to scoreflippers.com, and that homepage has links to both Insight and Event Genie. And a note, individuals won't be able to manage things on their club unless they are a club manager. All of the active clubs from last year had active club managers, and those club managers can assign new club managers. So even if they're no longer on your team, if you have their login info or if you have their contact info, just have them log on and assign new club managers. So we have guides on how to do that on the web. If, as with everything, if you strike out, don't hesitate to reach out to info @ but the materials to instruct you on how to do this should exist on the web already. Next. So quick overview For anything related to score flippers, we've done a ton of work, and volunteers have really iterated through this over the last couple of years that we've been on this new platform. And at Registration Help SF on the website, we have these flowcharts with videos going through everything that you could possibly imagine regarding score flippers, registration, etc. So go through that flowchart, figure out what applies to you, watch the videos. And for insights specifically, we have guides with extra details for club managers including everything from individual athlete and coach membership for your team if you want to purchase that instead of having them purchase it, assigning new accounts, updating account names, etc. All that is on the website, and we'll have that link in the slides when we send it out, or grab this QR code now, or just from the homepage navigate to registration help. Thank you very much. Next. And for Event Genie outside of Insight, so for registering for events like FlipFest, AGC, or any of the meets during the year or nationals, there is an FAQ on the website. You can see there's a third tab next to Overview and Insight. Same deal. All sorts of answers to your questions there. If you do strike out, don't hesitate to email us. Next. All right, over to you, Rennie.
Hi everyone, my name is Rennie. I'm the region's team lead. So if you didn't know already, each region for the NAIGC has a regional representative. They're also called RRs. Their main role is to kind of act as a liaison between the NAIGC organization and clubs and athletes in every region. So beyond just organizing host teams for regionals, we also are here to kind of be the first contact or first point of contact for you all if you have any questions. So that being said, a couple of updates here. So all the regional representatives are listed on the slide here. To make it a little bit more fun, I added their faces to the map just so you can put a name to a face. Some important things. The group me this year is going to be the main point of communication. So I highly encourage at least one member of club leadership and all individual athletes to join the group me. That way you all are getting the most up-to-date information in a timely manner. And so all of those are linked there. The QR code on the bottom leads you to the leadership page. And so from there, if for some reason you need to contact one of your RRs and you don't have an email address for them or want to send a message individually to them, their emails are on the website as well. So you can find that there. If you need the group me links and you can't find the slide deck anymore, the group me links are also up on the website. All right. To the next slide, I think Abby's presenting.
Hi, I'm Abby. I'm the sanctioning team lead. Basically, event sanctioning, or excuse me, the NAIGC offers like formal sanctions for any events that you want to host. So that could be a competition, it could be a camp, it could be, you know, if you have an idea for another event, we're happy to hear it. You can find our email address at the bottom of this slide if you have event suggestions or if you are interested in sanctioning an event. The major benefits to sanctioning with the NAIGC, people like to say the free awards, the access to our registration and scoring system. But I really think it's that you have a one-on-one like support before, during, and after your event. So once you submit a sanction, the request form is linked in this slide deck. It's also on our website. Once you submit a sanction request and then that's accepted by our team, you're assigned a member of our team to kind of like guide you through that entire process. So yeah, if you've sanctioned with us in the past, we hope you will come back. If you haven't, please, you're welcome to. I'm trying to think. We don't have any major changes to the sanctioning policy from last year. One small change to the sanction request form is that regular season meets and regionals are all going to be going through the same request form this year. That should be it. I think Scarlett's after me.
Hey, thanks, Abby. Yeah, my name's Scarlett. I am the fundraising lead here at the NAIGC, and I'm just going to talk to you about our season of giving fundraiser that we do every December. It's a joint fundraiser with clubs and NAIGC to raise money for NAIGC events and services, as well as for our members. An email is going to go out in the next couple of weeks with the sign up link, but basically all we need from clubs is a little bit of information about your club and a couple of photos, and then we'll do the rest. We'll create a custom landing page for you guys within our season of giving fundraiser. We'll also make some social media templates, email templates, and flyers that you can hand out to help promote the fundraiser, and we'll promote you on our NAIGC Instagram. At the end of the fundraiser, clubs get to keep 50% of all the donations made, which can be used to help cover competition fees, travel costs, other expenses, stuff like that. In previous years, the top rating clubs have also received prizes like keeping more percentages of their funds or early access to the banquet, stuff like that. We'll definitely be doing that again, so look out for that in our link with the announcement. And last year we had around 25 clubs participate and we raised over $12,000, which was awesome. We hope to raise even more money and have even more clubs participate this year. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. And now I'm going to pass it over to Alana.
Hello, can folks hear and see me? Sorry, I'm navigating the slide deck at the same time.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Yes, hi. My name's Alana. I'm the Director of Operations for the NAIGC. A few folks weren't able to make it tonight, so I'm going to share some of the information from some of our other teams as well. And like Kyle said at the beginning, if you have questions on anything that's been talked about so far or anything as we move forward, feel free to drop it into the chat. So for those who are not aware, NAIGC does have a scholarship fund. This year we gave out 3 scholarships in 3 different award categories. So we have a first year scholarship, which is for newly incoming freshmen. We have an underrepresented athlete scholarship, primarily for BIPOC individuals that are also undergraduate students, can be any year of school. And then this year we started a rainbow scholarship, which is for LGBTQIA plus athletes, also undergraduate students, can also be in any year of their undergraduate education. So there's a few different ways to get involved. One, just like spread awareness around your club about the scholarships, that we get more quality applicants. And so that if there's someone on your club that's struggling to pay tuition, to pay for books, to pay their club fees, whatever it might be, get a little bit of extra cash to help out. Folks can donate directly to the scholarship funds. When you go to the NAIGC donation page, there's a place where you can choose to donate to generally or donate specifically to scholarships. And then always looking for more people to join the team. If you're interested in reading scholarship applications and helping pick the people that get awarded these scholarships every year, feel free to reach out and let us know. A new offering that we've been able to start this year is to help clubs with their member club insurance. This is something that we hear a lot from clubs, especially as our number of community clubs is increasing, is that because most gyms that community clubs train at are set up for youth, they're not really sure from an insurance standpoint what to do for adult clubs. And that often is one of the hindering factors for clubs being able to start or continue training at their facilities. So partnered with Athletics ICC Insurance, and they are aware of the NAIGC, what we do, what our clubs are like, what kind of the risk profile is. They have an underwriter who is willing to insure adult clubs. And the NAIGC is offering to subsidize 25% of your premium if you're an NAIGC club that goes through us and gets their insurance through Athletics ICC. So if your club is struggling on the insurance front or just wants help subsidizing insurance and doesn't mind switching carriers, feel free to reach out and we can get you connected and get started on that subsidy. Next is the NAIGC strategic plan. So for anyone who was here last year, we passed the strategic plan last year. So we just finished year 1 of it. These slides will be posted online, so I won't read through all of them. But basically there's like 5 core tenets that we're working on over the next now 4 years, 5 years when we started. One is like the financial stability of our organization, which you'll hear Grace talk about our progress on in a little bit. One is adult gymnastics leadership. So as we're seeing more and more community clubs join the NAIGC, a bigger part of our population being community members as opposed to student university members, we want to make sure we're catering NAIGC service offerings to both of those membership types and really being a leader in what the adult gymnastics community needs. The next is just our organizational structure, making sure that the NAIGC, all the volunteers on this call, all of the other team members on all the teams that all of the leads on this call represent, making sure that structure is a structure that as the NAIGC grows, it can handle that growth. And that we have volunteers coming in constantly to help deal with that growth and all of the work that we have to do on the back end to make the NAIGC what it is. And then the last part is excellent service offering. So continuing to offer a sanctioning program that Abby talked about, continuing to provide scholarships and insurance and open and flexible nationals. That's one of the best meets of the year to go to. So those are the things we're focused on in this 5-year strategic plan. And here's a little bit of an update of kind of what we accomplished across those 5 core tenets in our first year of focus on this. Grace will talk more about financials, but really did a better job at financial forecasting and starting to get more stable in what our financial picture looks like in our cash reserves. We did increase our number of non-collegiate members, so we're on track for our goal of having 50% growth in that area. Got a lot clearer on roles within our organization, didn't have a lot of volunteer turnover from last year to this year, which is one of our goals, which is great. And I've had a ton of new volunteers come in throughout the year. And then had record nationals attendance, which Nate talked about earlier. So hoping to continue that trend as we move forward. So one of the things that helps the NAIGC run is volunteers. We have a really committed group of amazing volunteers, but that only works if people continue to reach out and want to get involved. So if you're thinking about wanting to get involved, it's always a good opportunity to stay connected to the gymnastics community after you graduate or aren't able to train anymore, or even if you still are training. So this is on the right is kind of how the NAIGC on the operations side is structured. And there's opportunities all the time to volunteer in any of those departments or teams. It's a rolling application process. We can onboard folks at any time, and your level of commitment and engagement is kind of up to you. So feel free to apply. There's more information on the website, or you can scan that QR code now. The other way to get involved is to serve on our board of directors. So this is a little bit different than our operations team. You heard from Kyle earlier, who's the president of our board. You hear from Grace in a little bit, who's the treasurer of our board. Our board is a group of 12 people that is also volunteering their time, but is elected by the membership to serve in that board seat. Board members serve 3-year terms. There's a few different board committees that you can sit on, and the board is really about helping shape the strategy and the future of the NAIGC, helping to make sure that all the operations volunteers are moving in the right direction and executing that strategy in the way that we have said that we want to. And applications for board, there's 4 board seats open this year. Applications are opening today. So if you follow that QR code, you'll be taken to an application and it'll be live. Those applications are open until mid-November, and then voting is open for member clubs. Every member club gets 1 vote for a board of directors, and voting will be open for the month of January. So if you're interested in board service as opposed to volunteer service, that is another avenue for getting involved in the NAIGC. And I will pass it over to Grace to talk through some financials.
Hi, I'm Grace Hanson, and I am in the middle of my 3rd year as treasurer for the NAIGC, and we're going to talk money a little bit. As you just heard, we are entirely volunteer run, but we still have expenses. We have an annual overhead that has to be met every year, not including expenses for nationals and sanctioning and all of those other things. We have annual board and volunteer expenses. We pay for websites. We pay for technology tools. We have an enormous banking and merchant fee burden, since we generally almost 100% take credit cards. And we do a lot of outreach and marketing, and that all costs money. Key income takeaways for this last year: we have a growing membership. We have more corporate sponsorships, and successful bulk contract negotiations have helped our financial picture quite a bit. We've got no fee changes for the coming year, 2025 through 2026, over the previous year. And the board has increased our focus on fiduciary responsibilities to help diversify NAIGC income sources. As you probably all are aware, everybody pays a membership fee, but we raise money from sponsors, vendor booths at nationals, and we make just a tiny, tiny bit of overhead on some sanctioned meets, but that goes to pay for your awards. So it's pretty much offset there. Expense key takeaways. Our accounting practices have gotten a little more painstaking. We are trying to be in compliance with generally accepted accounting principles. We are no longer a startup, as one of our board members said this earlier this last week. And we are a medium-sized company. So we have to keep our books shiny clean. Expenses for nationals begin 24 months in advance. So a year ago, we were already spending money on Portland. And this year, we'll be spending money on somewhere 2 years from now. And we've been spending money on this upcoming year of Birmingham since a year ago in October. So we have a lot of forward-looking expenses. We have to support our volunteers, absorb the costs of growing nationals, and prepare for future opportunities so we can expand programs and services. In addition to having a bit of a financial safety net to ensure that we can survive downturns due to, say, pandemics, disasters, inflation, a whole host of things. Next page, please. Our recent financial strength, and if you take a look at this picture, it looks a bit like the chart that Nate showed you earlier with our growing membership. We had some poor years during COVID and some less than stellar years in years past. But over the past 4 years, we've improved year over year. And that has allowed us to invest in the safety of our membership. We're subsidizing insurance. We reimburse medical support at sanctioned meets. We support the people who make the NAIGC possible, our volunteers. Nationals growth, we're absorbing rising costs to keep nationals open and affordable. You might recall our banquet we never make any money on our banquet. We're always subsidizing it, but it's so much fun. We can't bring ourselves to not do it. And we have future opportunities. We'd like to build and expand programs into, say, other disciplines of gymnastics if we can make it happen. So we need to have that money to spend for your benefit and to keep our organization strong. Next page. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kyle Sandberg, our president.
Thanks, Grace. So that concludes all of the technical content of this presentation. So if anyone has any questions on anything that was covered in this presentation or anything on the NAIGC in general, please drop it in the chat and we will hopefully be able to answer it for you.
Hi, all. I'm Ashley Ross. I'm our board secretary. I will be moderating our Q&A period. You can use the Q&A feature within Zoom. You can also raise your hand if you would like to speak a question out loud. Right now, I do not see anything in the queue. All right, we just got a question in our panelist chat instead of in the Q&A, but I will state it. It is, which cities are you exploring for 2028? And I think Nate has just jumped on to answer that one.
We purposefully don't announce anything officially until contracts have been signed, and so you're just going to have to wait until next year's annual meeting.
All right. Next question. Is there a limit to how many clubs can sign up for the fundraising event, like first come, first serve?
I can take this one. No, there's no limit. It's as many clubs, everyone's invited, anyone can sign up. We don't cap it at all.
Next question. Are event sanctions still free for member clubs?
Yes, they are. Woohoo!
Right. Next question came up in the panelist chat again. When are payments due for this year's nationals?
Registration timeline will be announced later in the year, but generally opens around January.
Or any time up until registration closes. And just to be clear, though, in order to register for nationals or any meet, you need an NAIGC membership. NAIGC membership is not a registration for a meet. So by getting an NAIGC membership, now you are able to register for events, but the membership itself is not a registration for an event. Does that answer the question?
We'll say yes unless we hear otherwise. All right, next question. Just to confirm, none of the new changes to MAG rules around scale alternatives and corner transitions from FIG will be incorporated into NAIGC for this upcoming season, correct? I believe that's a Lucas question.
Yeah, I'm happy to cover this one. It's a good question. It's one of the things that FIG changed recently that we're going to announce here shortly. The long story short is that for developmental and intermediate, those corner transitions and scale requirements won't be required, but for the advanced level, it will be required. We're just trying to keep in sync with kind of what other organizations are doing to make it easier to judge, and we think it's fitting for that level of competition.
Okay. Next up, how does the form for West Coast Regionals meet work?
Great cue. So the form for West Coast regionals will be the same as any regionals and any sanctioned competition, which is live now on our website. It should be pretty self-explanatory. The only difference for regional competitions is at the end of the second page of information that you're filling out, you check a box that say it is a regional competition, and then there's 2 additional questions or something. If you have specific questions about the form, can you drop them in the chat or send us an email? Thanks.
Next up, you spoke on this a little bit regarding simplifying the WAG Open division at Nationals. This past Nationals, the judges seemed almost entirely unaware of the level and its requirements, and it led to that session lasting many hours. What efforts were there this past year to teach the judges, and what improvements will you make this year?
Great question, Cassie. So past efforts last year, we sent out all the materials to the judges in advance. We had a dedicated Zoom call with only the judges that were assigned to the WAG Open level to go over those rules with them and to answer any questions they had. They assured us that they had no questions and that they fully understood everything. That became rapidly clear during the meet that that was not the case, and we have learned our lesson. And so this year we'll be doing practice and calibration routines in advance, in addition to hopefully a virtual meet, in order to get those judges practice, for us to be able to check their practice and confirm that we're all on the same page. We're also going to be a little bit more forceful and have them practice splitting into one D judge and one E judge, which was our plan, but then that did not survive contact with the judges actually judging. And so in terms of simplification, the major things that we're doing are we no longer have an event specific bonus, so they don't need to keep track of, for instance, on floor, if there's a 2 salto pass, etc. There's no longer any connection bonus. That was particularly confusing, especially on bars, where because you only needed a B or higher, there were just connections all over the place. So that really complicated things. And then in terms of the element group bonus, instead of having the 8 or 9 element groups that the code already has, we've condensed that down to 4 element groups per apparatus. And so it should be a lot quicker to just check whether they had at least one B or higher skill in each of those 4 kind of condensed groups. But the big thing is that we're going to really check their work in advance. So we'll get those judge selections done generally in kind of the January, February timeframe, and then make sure that they've all done, on the order of 5 to 10 routines, and we've checked, and that their time frame for getting those judged is much better than last year.
Okay, next question. If we want to sanction our meet, do we receive assistance with obtaining judges?
Yes, you can. That is one of the things that your sort of like one-on-one person is there for. If you're having trouble finding judges or any number of things, you could reach out to us.
Next up, is there a foreseen need to start limiting nationals attendance with qualifications from regionals?
No. We will work as hard as we can to never have that happen. And we don't foresee needing to do that in the future.
Next one, do clubs need insurance or just the gyms where they train?
The NAIGC doesn't have a requirement for clubs to have insurance. We carry our own organizational policies. So when you're participating in an NAIGC sanctioned event, so Flip Fest or Nationals, we have insurance that covers NAIGC participants of those events. So it would only be if your club needs insurance for some other reason. So your training facility, your university, whatever it might be, is requiring it, but you don't need it to be an NAIGC club member. There was one other insurance question that I'll answer while I'm on. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Just read the question first.
Okay. The question was, for insurance, does the entire club have to switch provider, or can this be a separate policy specifically for the NAIGC participants? Totally up to your club. I would imagine financially it might make more sense not to have to carry 2 policies. But if that's not the case and you want to have NAIGC participants on one and other participants on another, totally up to you. There's no minimum number of members needed to be able to to be able to be like underwritten for the athletics ICC policy.
So we have 2 questions around regional coordinators. Since all the regional coordinators are related to collegiate clubs, have you considered adding a community rep? And then the second regional one is, are you actively seeking a rep for South Central?
So to answer the first question, yes, I think we've briefly discussed kind of having collegiate club reps and community reps. Ultimately, we decided against it because they would be doing the same job. Really, we have more reps from collegiate clubs just because they have more time and it's something that they volunteer to do. But if you would like to volunteer next year to be a regional rep, we're more than happy to look at your application. As for seeking a rep for South Central, we do try and look for one every summer in between seasons. So far we haven't had any luck. So if somebody is volunteered to be our South Central regional rep, I would love that. Feel free to send an email to info@ and we'll get you onboarded.
Next up, when are fall sanction meets usually posted for registration?
They are usually posted around this time, so I'd say keep an eye on the website. We haven't had any sanction requests yet, but they tend to start rolling in really quickly around now. So that's that answer. And then I think there was another sanctioning question that I can stay on to answer, but I lost it.
Perfect. Last year, our club hosted a meet
yeah.
with insurance we got through the NAIGC. Is that still an option?
Thank you. And the answer is yes, we would love to have you. Come on back.
Okay. Also somewhat sanctioning, would there ever be a situation where you would allow a WAG regional and MAG regional to be hosted by different clubs?
That's a really interesting question. I think that the answer is yes. I mean, we would love to prioritize a place that can have both, but more than that, we'd love to prioritize having both competitions available. So if only one gym in the region can host regionals and they don't have MAG equipment, or vice versa, they have MAG equipment but not WAG, then I think would want to make that possible for our membership. Although I see that Nate's camera is on, so if that was incorrect, please say so. Okay, perfect.
Nope, you nailed it. Yeah, I think we'd rather have it in 2, but if there's some extenuating circumstances, we're certainly never going to slam the door on anything before hearing out.
Okay, we do have another sanctioning question. Do you require regionals to be uncapped or can we cap registration numbers?
We do not require regionals to be uncapped. You can cap registration numbers. If your gym, like that, the facility that you're using for regionals has a limit to the number of people that are in there, and there's nothing that we can do about that. We'd love for to kind of like understand the reason that you're doing that, just because like in order to stay committed to the NAIGC's values, it's important to us that as many people as possible can compete. So as long as it's not like we're trying to keep this specific group or team out of our competition, then yes, it's totally possible to cap registration numbers.
All right, at the moment, I do not see any open questions or raised hands. Okay, thanks for all the questions. If there's anything else, please again feel free to use the Q&A or to raise your hand. Oh, we've got one more here. If your home region doesn't have a regional meet, can we go outside our region for the regional meet?
Yes, that happened last year, so we did determine that that's allowed. If your home region doesn't have a regional competition, you could also consider hosting and submitting a sanction request to host regionals at your gym.
Okay. Also sanctioning related, what is the difference between sanctioned and unsanctioned meets?
Unsanctioned meets happen like all the time all over the place, but we don't know about it because they're not officially doing it through the NAIGC, which means that they're not required to, like uphold any of our rules, regulations, that sort of thing. It also means that they're not getting access to score flippers for registration and scoring. They're not getting like one-on-one NAIGC support. There is a document on our website that gives a list of all competitions in the region, sanctioned and unsanctioned. It's like an open document for anyone to edit. So if you're interested in going to an unsanctioned competition, there is a way for you to find them on our website. Yeah, I hope that answered the question.
My quick plug is the sheet that Abby is talking about is live. So if you guys are planning unsanctioned meets, please add them on there so everybody else can find them too.
But sanctioning is awesome and great. And so you should sanction your competition with us.
Yeah, we just got a question that is not actually a question, but I'll read it anyway. Just wanted to point out that since sanctions are free and carry so many benefits, there's really no reason not to sanction your meet.
I didn't even pay them to say that. That was perfect timing. Thank you, whoever that was.
One follow-up question on sanctioning. If you hosted an unsanctioned meet, do you get judges on your own?
Yep, that would be up to you. And by the way, if you sanction a competition, but you don't need help finding judges or you don't need help with any number of things, you're totally welcome to do that on your own. We're not like micromanaging the judges that you have. If you have that all figured out, good for you.
Don't see anything else. Oh, one more here. How are the regional host locations selected?
Great cue. To be completely transparent, last year and maybe even the year before, most regions only submitted one regionals bid. And so there's not much of a like selection process. It just goes to that gym. So long as they like meet, like I said, our like safety regulations and rules for inclusion and that sort of thing. Yeah. Did that answer? No, I didn't answer the question actually. When there is more than one bid in the region, the sanctioning form, as long, like I said, as long as the bid, like people are meeting our rules and requirements, if there are more than one, it gets tossed over to the regions team, and then the regions team determines like which one of the two you're selecting. And I see Rennie just turned on her camera, so she can answer this better than me.
Yeah, so everything that Abby said, but yes, if there's multiple bids in a region, it gets kicked over to the regions team, and we'll kind of sift through the bids and decide. In years past, there was voting. So if there were multiple bids in a region, we would send out a Google form and have club teams vote on which host team or which meet they would rather go to, depending on a number of things like location, registration fees, etc. And so this year, if there are multiple bids, we've left it up to the regional representatives to see how they kind of want to go through them and how they want to get club input. So if you have any other questions about that side of things, feel free to email your regional representative and they can kind of walk you through what your region's process might look like.
I think we're going to wrap up with these two last questions related to sanctioning. That is what the chat response was in regards to. So what are the other benefits of sanctioning a meet versus not? And can we get sanctioned and not use score flippers? And then after that, if Kyler or Alana wants to hop up for wrap up, that would be great.
Other benefits of sanctioning your competition are on the screen right now. Thank you to whoever is doing the PowerPoint presentation. So you get free awards, you get access to score flippers for reg and scoring and payment. If you want to have like a registration fee, we collect that and then give you a check at the end. The cost of an athletic trainer is covered by the NAIGC for regional competitions. Finding an athletic trainer, finding judges, booking hotels, those are all things that we can help you with. Social media and web promotion, yeah. I forget the other question. I'm so sorry.
Can we sanction and not use score flippers?
Oh yeah. Someone can come on and correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually think that we do you do have to use score flippers because that's how we prove that, or that's how we like confirm that everyone who's registering for the competition is like has signed waivers by being a member of the NAIGC.
I believe that's correct, Abby.
That's all the questions, correct?
That is everything we have at the moment. If there are any others, send them to us and we will answer them after.
Okay. I guess Alana, feel free to hop on if you have anything you want to say, but I just wanted to thank everyone for coming and for all the presenters for taking time out of their day to give this presentation. Like I said at the beginning, we will be sending a recording out of this presentation to everyone. So if you want to review it, or if there's anyone who was unable to make it but wants to look through everything, they can do so. And if you have any other questions that come up that we weren't able to address or you didn't think of right now, feel free to reach out to any of the emails that we have in this presentation or on social media, and we will route your question to the correct person and hopefully get you an answer. Yeah, so thanks again for hopping on, and have a great rest of your weekend.